The Preds are a little fragile. No, those are not my words. That's what you, Predator Jonathan Marchessault, said after Nashville fell to 0-4 after losing to the Oil. To talk about it, here's Bruce Boudreau. Bruce, a new guy comes in and immediately calls his team a little fragile. He may be right, but if you're the coach and the new guy says this, what do you think and how do you handle it?
Well, first of all, come on, that's a cop-out for sure. Like, I mean, hey, Marchessault just finished playing on a Stanley Cup champion. They just got Stamkos. They had a team that went to the playoffs. If they're fragile, with all the money they're making, then that's boo-hoo on them. Get up and play. They're just not playing good. When you're not playing good and you're 0-4 and you're looking for excuses, fragility is not the excuse you want to use. Like, I mean, it's not like these guys are first-year players or second-year players and they're wondering, hey, am I going to get sent to the minors if I don't play good? They're there. They're supposed to be good. That's why we signed you to these big tickets. So come on, enough of this fragile stuff. Let's get to work. Saros has got to play better. Stamkos hasn't got a point yet. You got to be expecting that. Their power play can be as good as anybody's, but so don't use fragile as a word. They're just not getting the job done, and what they have to do is work a little bit harder. If they work harder and get into and score some goals, they will win some games.
I love fiery Bruce. This is awesome. As you mentioned, the Preds signed Marchessault and Steven Stamkos on day one of free agency. The expectations went through the roof. Now Marchessault's calling on his team, and Stamkos 0 goals, 0 points, and the team still hasn't won this season. What do you do if you're running this team right now?
Well, if I'm running this team, I think the one thing, you know, Barry Trotz was a coach for 20 years. He knows what to come in. I'm sure him and Andrew Brunette have been talking about it, but I would come in here and say, quit your whining, quit your crying. We're paying you big money. It's enough of this just moving from one team to another and, oh, we were real stars over there and coming back in and not having success right away. Because all summer long, all we talked about was how great Nashville was going to be. Now they can still be great, but I think they got too many players whining, or at least Marchessault's whining. I don't know if that's something the room feels, that they're just, poor me, shucks, we're not getting the breaks. Boo-hoo. Get out there and outwork the guys in the corner, win the one-on-one battles, win an ugly game, and then you'll start to get on the right move. But this sitting back and saying, hey, when something goes wrong, we can't deal with it, I mean, that's just the wrong approach at all to take. And if I was Barry Trotz, I'd come in there and say the same thing in a little bit of a closed-door meeting type thing, if you know what I'm saying.
I know exactly what you're saying, and I love the fact you're not behind closed doors right now. Let's talk about Stammer. The Four Nations face-offs coming up in February. Stamkos has won World Cup gold, World Junior gold, but his injury kept him out of the Olympics. What do you think his chances are of making Team Canada this February?
Well, I think his chances were excellent, and he was already a write-in before the season started. Now the season's early, for sure, and he can still rectify what he's done. But I mean, I think this is going to be based on the Four Nations Cup is going to be based on what they think is going to be in the Olympics. So I mean, if Steven, who by the way, I love him. I think he's I hated playing against him. All of these things, but I mean, I think it's what have you done for me lately type thing. Right now, to me, he's a lock. But if he continues to go at the trend that he's going, and it's only 2 weeks into the season, I would think that they might have a little tendencies to see what else is going. Maybe there's some young gun that nobody even thought of that all of a sudden is taken off, and they say, you know what? Let's see this guy because he might be the future down the road. So I mean, Steven's got to pick it up. Steven's going to be hard on himself right now and knows he's got to pick it up. But I'm sure he will, and I'm sure he's going to be a lock. But right now, the way he's playing, not so sure.
All right. For the record, FanDuel has Stamkos listed at -470 to make Team Canada. That means bettors are calling him a virtual lock. We'll see if those odds shift if his slow start continues.